For privacy reasons, names and places have been changed. This story is inspired by true events.
In the late season of 2012, 29-year-old Tomasz Zielinski, a seasoned long-distance trekker, began his journey on the W circuit in Torres del Paine, Chile. A sudden, ferocious blow forced many hikers off the trail, but Tomasz never checked in at his next refugio. Despite an extensive search by park rangers and guides, Tomasz Zielinski vanished without a trace amidst the vast Patagonian wilderness. For 13 agonizing years, the Zielinski family lived with agonizing uncertainty, clinging to dwindling hope. Then, in 2025, a discovery was made high on a lateral moraine above a proglacial lake, a sun-faded pack, entombed in ice rubble, holding a chilling clue. This is the complete investigation into what happened to Tomasz Zielinski. Before we continue, let us know where you're watching from, and if you enjoy this content, consider liking and subscribing to our channel. Now let's continue. Tomasz Zielinski, at 29 years old, embodied the spirit of the modern long-distance trekker. His life was defined by a profound passion for the wilderness, a drive that propelled him across some of the most challenging landscapes on Earth. An ambitious individual, Zielinski meticulously planned his expeditions, his gear chosen with a precise understanding of the demands of remote travel. His meticulous preparation and extensive experience had seen him conquer arduous trails across continents, instilling in him a confidence born of competence. In 2012, his latest challenge brought him to the heart of Chilean Patagonia, to the iconic yet notoriously treacherous W circuit within Torres del Paine National Park. This renowned route, winding through towering granite spires, ancient forests, and glacial valleys, offered both unparalleled beauty and formidable dangers, a duality Zielinski understood and respected. He was several days into his traverse of the W circuit when the Patagonian weather, famous for its volatility, unleashed a sudden and severe mid-season blow. This wasn't merely a squall, it was a powerful, unrelenting weather system that descended with little warning, characterized by hurricane-force winds, torrential rain, and plummeting temperatures, creating whiteout conditions in higher elevations. Park authorities, recognizing the immediate threat to life, issued urgent directives compelling hikers to abandon their routes and seek shelter. Many complied, retreating to the safety of the designated refugios or initiating an emergency evacuation from the exposed trails. The force of the storm was such that it could disorient even seasoned trekkers, turning familiar paths into perilous gauntlets. Tomasz Zielinski, however, was not among those who reported in. His itinerary had him scheduled to check in at the next refugio along the circuit on the evening the storm hit. As the hours passed and the storm began to subside, staff at the refugio noted his absence. This was highly unusual for an experienced trekker like Zielinski, known for his punctuality and strict adherence to safety protocols. Initial concern among the park staff slowly deepened into an alarming realization. Days turned into a prolonged, anxious wait, punctuated only by the relentless Patagonian winds. The official notification of a missing person was filed, triggering the first stages of what would become a complex and enduring mystery. Tomasz Zielinski had vanished without a trace into the vast, unforgiving expanse of Torres del Paine, leaving behind only the unanswered questions of his sudden disappearance. The alarm concerning Tomasz Zielinski's non-arrival escalated quickly. Within 24 hours of his missed check-in, a full-scale search and rescue operation was mobilized. Leading the ground efforts was park ranger Matilde Reyes, a veteran of Torres del Paine, with over 15 years of experience navigating its complex terrain. Her knowledge of the park's microclimates and hidden dangers was unparalleled, making her an indispensable asset in such critical situations. Alongside her was Franco Riquelme, a seasoned local guide whose family had lived in the region for generations. Riquelme's practical expertise in tracking and wilderness survival, coupled with his intimate understanding of the W circuit's nuances, proved crucial. Their initial strategy involved mapping out Zielinski's last known trajectory, focusing on the segment of the W circuit he was expected to traverse after the severe mid-season blow. Search teams, comprising park rangers, local volunteers and specialized rescue personnel, were deployed along the entire W circuit and into adjacent, less trafficked areas. Helicopters were brought in for aerial reconnaissance whenever weather conditions permitted, scanning the vast valleys and glacial slopes. However, the Patagonian wilderness presented immense and immediate difficulties. The sheer scale of Torres del Paine, with its jagged peaks, dense forests and deep ravines, rendered conventional search methods agonizingly slow. The unpredictable weather, still prone to sudden shifts even after the major storm, further hampered visibility and operational safety. Days of relentless searching yielded no trace. Investigators considered several initial theories. The most prominent was that Zielinski, caught in the sudden ferocity of the storm, might have been disoriented, losing his way and succumbing to exposure or injury in a remote, inaccessible area. Another hypothesis suggested a fall, perhaps into a crevasse or down a steep incline, leaving his body hidden from view. The possibility of him having sought shelter in an unmarked cave or beneath a rock overhang, only to be trapped or injured, was also explored. Yet, despite the exhaustive efforts, the rugged landscape held its secrets close, offering no definitive answers and no sign of Tomasz Zielinski or his gear. The vastness of Patagonia swallowed him whole, leaving a void that the initial investigation could not fill. After weeks of exhaustive and increasingly desperate searching, the limitations imposed by the Patagonian wilderness became undeniable. Despite the tireless efforts of Park Ranger Matilda Reyes, Guide Franco Riquelme and their dedicated teams, the vast, unforgiving terrain of Torres del Paine offered no further clues to Tomasz Zielinski's whereabouts. The initial leads had been thoroughly exhausted, and without any new information or a definitive trace, the active search operations began to scale down. The immense scale of the park, coupled with its relentless and unpredictable weather patterns, proved an insurmountable barrier to sustained, high-intensity efforts. Resources were finite, and the risk to search personnel in such a hostile environment could not be indefinitely justified without a clear objective. Eventually, the search was officially suspended. The file on Tomasz Zielinski, once a priority, gradually transitioned from an active investigation into a cold case, archived among the many unresolved mysteries that linger in the world's most remote regions. For his family, the park staff, and the many volunteers who had tirelessly scoured the wilderness, the lack of closure was a profound and enduring burden. The absence of a body, any personal effects, or even a definitive accident site meant that hope, however faint, could never be entirely extinguished. Yet the harsh reality of the Patagonian landscape offered little comfort. This ambiguity left an open wound, a constant reminder of a life abruptly cut short and a truth left buried. Years turned into a decade, then more, as the Patagonian winds continued their ceaseless howl, carrying no whispers of Tomasz Zielinski's fate. 13 years elapsed since that fateful mid-season blow of 2012. The seasons cycled, glaciers advanced and retreated by imperceptible degrees, and the towering granite spires of Torres del Paine stood sentinel over an unsolved enigma. The enduring mystery of Tomasz's disappearance became a somber legend among the park rangers, a stark reminder of the wilderness's power. His name remained etched in the park's records, a symbol of the unanswered questions that persisted for over a decade, a testament to the fact that even the most experienced trekkers could vanish without a trace in the heart of Patagonia. The vastness of the landscape had not only claimed a life, but had also swallowed the truth, leaving behind only speculation and an enduring, painful silence. 13 years after Tomasz Zielinski vanished into the Patagonian wilderness, the unforgiving landscape finally began to yield a piece of its closely guarded secret. It was late in the melt season of 2025, a period when the retreating glaciers and thawing permafrost often revealed what had long been entombed. High on a lateral moraine, situated precariously above a turbulent proglacial lake in a remote section of Torres del Paine, an anomaly caught the eye of a park patrol. Partially exposed from a matrix of ice rubble and compacted gravel was a backpack, its once vibrant fabric bleached and tattered by years of sun and abrasive wind. The discovery was immediately reported, triggering a cautious but swift response. Park Ranger Matilda Reyes, still serving in Torres del Paine, arrived at the site with a team of specialists. The backpack was meticulously extricated from its icy tomb. Its sun-faded exterior offered little initial identification, but a careful examination of the contents confirmed the profound significance of the find. Inside, among other weather-beaten personal effects, was a waterproof document pouch containing identification papers. Despite the passage of time, the name was clear: Tomasz Zielinski. The cold case, dormant for over a decade and a half, was abruptly and dramatically reignited. The backpack became the focal point of a renewed investigation. Forensic specialists painstakingly documented its condition and contents. While many items were degraded by exposure, one detail stood out with stark clarity: a stove canister, severely cracked and deformed, recovered from a side pocket. Its condition suggested a powerful impact, not merely the result of gradual weathering. This single damaged item provided the first tangible clue since Tomasz's disappearance, hinting at a sudden, violent event rather than a slow decline. The discovery site itself, a dynamic zone of glacial retreat and shifting debris, presented its own set of challenges. Yet the presence of Tomasz's pack precisely where it lay offered a critical, if still incomplete, piece of the puzzle of his final moments. The wilderness had finally spoken, albeit in a whisper. The discovery of Tomasz Zielinski's backpack dramatically re-energized the long cold case, transforming it from a desperate search for a living person into a meticulous investigation aimed at reconstructing the final moments of his life. Park Ranger Matilda Reyes, whose initial search efforts had been thwarted by the vastness of the wilderness, now approached the evidence with renewed purpose and the invaluable perspective of years of experience. She was quickly joined by Franco Richelme, the seasoned local guide, whose intimate understanding of glacial movements and microclimates in Torres del Paine became critical. Their combined knowledge, once applied to tracking a lost hiker, was now focused on deciphering the grim narrative offered by the recovered artifact. The objective of the investigation had fundamentally shifted. No longer were they scanning for signs of life. Their task now was to understand the precise circumstances of Zielinski's demise. The discovery site itself became a primary focus. The lateral moraine, a chaotic ridge of rock and sediment pushed aside by a glacier, was a dynamic and unstable environment. Investigators meticulously documented its composition, observing the marks left by the retreating ice and the powerful forces that had preserved and then revealed the backpack. They studied the adjacent proglacial lake, its waters fed by glacial melt, understanding its role in the transport and deposition of debris over more than a decade. The glacial dynamics, the slow, relentless movement of ice, were central to comprehending how the pack had become entombed and subsequently exposed. Every item within the sun-faded pack underwent rigorous forensic examination. Beyond the identifying documents, specialists scrutinized the cracked stove canister, its severe deformation suggesting a direct, powerful impact. Other contents, though degraded, were analyzed for any clues: tears in fabric that might indicate a fall, scuff marks on equipment hinting at a slide, or even the type of food remaining, which could offer insights into his last days. New hypotheses began to form, superseding the vague theories of simple exposure or being lost. The condition of the stove canister, coupled with the rugged glacial environment of the discovery site, pointed increasingly towards a sudden, violent event. The team now considered scenarios involving a fall into a crevasse, being swept away by an avalanche of ice or rock, or a direct impact from the extreme weather event itself, which could have dislodged him into an unseen danger. The wilderness had given up a piece of its puzzle, but the full picture remained elusive. The reopened investigation into Tomasz Zielinski's disappearance still faced the formidable challenge of Patagonia's vastness. Even with the backpack providing a critical starting point, the specific location of the discovery, a dynamic moraine, offered few static clues about the exact circumstances of its arrival. Traditional ground searches were slow and limited, prompting the team to turn to cutting-edge technology to penetrate the secrets of the treacherous landscape. During the subsequent melt season, a period when retreating ice revealed new terrain, a specialized unmanned aerial vehicle, UAV, was deployed. At its controls was Niels Håkansson, a seasoned pilot with extensive experience navigating drones in extreme environments, tasked with meticulously mapping the glacial features and surrounding topography. Håkansson's drone systematically scanned the area around the proglacial lake and the moraine where the pack had been found, generating high-resolution imagery. The aerial perspective offered an unprecedented view of the glacial dynamics, revealing subtle yet crucial details invisible from the ground. Among the thousands of images, a significant anomaly emerged, a pronounced wind scoop, a depression carved by persistent winds which had exposed a hidden crevasse. This fissure, previously obscured by snow and ice rubble, lay just a few hundred meters from the backpack's discovery site. Its presence immediately presented a plausible scenario for a sudden, catastrophic event. The critical breakthrough, however, arrived through a painstaking comparison of the backpack's physical evidence with Tomasz's personal effects. Forensic analysis of the gravel and ice imprints preserved on the base of the recovered pack revealed a unique geological signature. Simultaneously, investigators meticulously reviewed Tomasz's digital camera, recovered from the waterproof pouch within the pack. Among his last photographs taken days before the storm was a striking image of a prominent nunatak, an exposed rock peak surrounded by glacial ice, featuring a distinctive pattern of gravel and small, angular stones. When the unique gravel imprints from the backpack were precisely matched against the geological features visible in Tomasz's photograph of the nunatak, a definitive connection was forged. The pattern was identical. This vital correlation, combined with the drone imagery revealing the hidden crevasse near the discovery site, allowed investigators to piece together a clear and tragic timeline. Tomasz had been near that specific nunatak, capturing its beauty just prior to the mid-season blow. The pack's imprints indicated he had set it down on that precise gravel bed. The proximity of the nunatak to the newly identified crevasse, now exposed by glacial melt, painted a stark picture of his final moments. The wilderness had finally relinquished its secret, revealing not just a location, but the likely sequence of events that led to Tomasz Zielinski's vanishing. The combined evidence, meticulously gathered and analyzed, allowed investigators to construct a definitive theory regarding Tomasz Zielinski's disappearance. It was determined that he had been near the distinctive nunatak, captured in his camera's final images, when the ferocious mid-season blow descended upon Torres del Paine in 2012. The precise match of gravel imprints on his backpack to the unique geological features of that nunatak placed him at the precipice of tragedy. Caught in the hurricane-force winds and whiteout conditions, it is highly probable that Tomasz, disoriented and perhaps struggling against the elements, fell into the hidden crevasse that drone imagery later exposed near the nunatak's base. The severe impact suggested by the cracked stove canister found in his pack corroborates a sudden, violent event. His backpack, likely dislodged during the fall or left behind as he plummeted, became entombed within the glacial ice. For 13 years it was carried slowly by the glacier's imperceptible flow until the relentless melt season of 2025 finally exposed it on the lateral moraine, a silent testament to his final moments. This conclusive understanding brought a profound sense of resolution to a mystery that had persisted for over a decade. For Tomasz's family, and for those like park ranger Matilde Reyes and guide Franco Riquelme, who had tirelessly searched, the truth, however tragic, offered a form of closure. Matilde Reyes reflected on the immense power of the Patagonian wilderness, a landscape that demands respect and can claim lives without leaving a trace for years. Franco Riquelme underscored the unique challenges of cold cases in such environments, where nature itself acts as both perpetrator and preserver of secrets. The case highlighted the critical role of evolving technology. Without Niels Håkansson's melt-season drone imagery, the crucial hidden crevasse might have remained undiscovered, and the connection to Tomasz's final photograph might never have been made. Ultimately, Tomasz Zielinski, a dedicated trekker whose adventurous spirit led him to the heart of Patagonia, met a tragic end. His story, however, became a testament to the persistent human drive for answers, finding its resolution through a combination of dedicated investigation and the cutting-edge tools that finally allowed the wilderness to reveal its long-held secret.